In this lesson, you will learn to divide any size number by a one-digit number. Now, let's begin by explaining division. So what is division? Well, it's used for two different things. One is it can be used to find the equal number in each set. So for example, let's say here we have 24 squares, and we want to divide these 24 squares into two groups. So if you divide into two groups, you split it down the middle right here, what we have is two groups, and in each group we have 12. So the way we can express this as a division problem is 24 divided by 2 is equal to 12. And right here we see our division symbol. So 24 and then divide. Your division symbol looks like this, and then divide by 2 equals 12. So that's one way in which we can use division. And the other way is similar, and this is where it can be used to find the number of equal sized sets. So again, if we had 24 squares, and let's say we wanted to divide into groups of 4. Well, to divide into groups of 4, we could make 6 different groups. So we have 6 groups of 4. So the way we can express this as a division problem is that 24 divided by 4 is equal to 6. So again, we can think of this as a division problem. So we have mentioned that this division symbol right here is a way to express division, but there's actually other ways in which we can express division. So if we wanted to say 50 divided by 10, you could state it in English as we see here, 50 divided by 10. We could use the division symbol as we used in the previous slide. So 50 divided by 10, and here we see that division symbol. Another way to express division is with a fraction. So if we write 50 over 10 as a fraction, the fraction bar means division. So this would mean 50 divided by 10. And another way we can express division is like this. So we have 50, and then here we have kind of like a little half of a square, and then 10 over here. So this is not used as often, but it's going to be used primarily when you set up a division problem. So when we get into bigger numbers, we're going to use this a lot to work through those longer division problems. So if you're just writing out 50 divided by 10, typically it's going to be these two ways, and this last way down here is for the solving process. We're going to write it like this to solve. Now with the division problem, there are different parts of it. So let's say we're dealing with this problem of 50 divided by 10, and the answer to that is 5. Well, the first number is called the dividend. The second number here is called the divisor, because that's the number we're dividing by. And then your answer, your solution, is called the quotient. So make sure you know those terms: dividend, divisor, and quotient. And out of those three, the word quotient is going to be the most important. You'll see that more often than the other two, but it is important to know all three. Now, with a division problem, we want to show the relationship between the different parts of a problem. So let's say we were doing 40 divided by 10. So 40 divided by 10 equals 4. So we have the dividend divided by the divisor, and that's equal to the quotient. So dividend, divisor, and quotient. So if you're given this problem of 40 divided by 10 equals 4, one other relationship we can create from this is we can switch the 10 and the 4 around and make a true statement. So if you switch the 10 and the 4 around, we would have 40 divided by 4 equals 10. All right, so that is one thing we can do. So we can switch the divisor and the quotient and get the same solution. We try to color coordinate it here for you to help you visualize what we're doing. But that's one way that we can rearrange this problem. Now the other thing we can do is we can take the quotient and multiply by the divisor. If we take 4 times 10, that's going to equal your dividend of 40. So we can rearrange this and create a multiplication problem where we have 4 times 10 equals 40. So the quotient times the divisor will always equal the dividend. And this method, this relationship, is going to be used to check the accuracy of your answer. You can do it for a small division problem like this, or you can use it for more complicated division problems that we'll learn in the future. Now we can use this relationship to solve for an unknown part of a problem. So for example, let's say we had 4 times n equals 28. Well, we can work backwards and think of this as a division problem. So if we're trying to figure out 4 times what equals 28, we could rearrange this and have 28 divided by 4 equals n, equals your unknown number. So what is 28 divided by 4? Well, that's going to be 7. So your answer, your unknown number, is going to be 7. And we can verify that because 4 times 7 does indeed equal 28. So it's important to know how to go back and forth between multiplication and division. Here's another example. We have n times 8 equals 72. So what times 8 is 72? Well, we can rearrange this into a division problem, where n would equal 72 divided by 8. And 72 divided by 8 is 9. So your solution for the unknown number n is going to be 9. We can verify that because if we plug back in the 9 in place of n, we would have 9 times 8 equaling 72. That is a true statement. So your solution is going to be 9. Here's the third example. Here we have 7 times n equals 21. So 7 times what is 21? Well, we can find that by rearranging this into a division problem. We can think of this as n equals 21 divided by 7. And 21 divided by 7 is equal to 3. So your answer is n equals 3. So that concludes the content for this lesson. And this is a 5th grade level lesson. So at this point, we're assuming that you know your division facts decently well. But if you're struggling with your division facts, what we have here is a resource where we have a Quizlet created where you can review with your division. And this has about 130 different problems on here you can practice with. So if you want, you can use this, and we can put the link in the video as well, so you can click on the link to access. And that concludes our lesson for today. We will see you next time.